Today's word of the day is a Greek word. Are you ready? Today's word of the day is, repeat after me, prophenine. 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 So the question comes, what does the word prophenine mean? Doesn't it sound like a prescription drug? Ask your doctor if prophenine could be right for you. What does that Greek word prophenine mean? We know that it was the ancient Greeks who invented theater. In fact, they invented two types of theater, comedy and tragedy. And when our Greek ancestors got onto the stage, they often put on masks, right? Christopher, would you have your help for this one? We're going to have Christopher put on this mask, right? Our ancient ancestors then, in Greek, when they put on masks and got up to stand on the stage then, they had to come up with a new word. They had to invent a new word for what it was that they were doing. In English today, we call it acting, but their word was prophenine, which literally means to speak through a mask. How's it going there, Christopher? Christopher, you didn't do your hair before mass today. Let me help you out. There we go. So Christopher, why don't we have you wave at us and say hello? And say hello. Wait a minute. I have a question for you. Did we just hear that mask speak? Do masks talk? Or was that Christopher speaking through the mask? You follow me? Does the mask talk? The mask does not talk. It was Christopher who spoke through the mask. Thank you, Christopher. You can take that off. You look very handsome in that mask, by the way. You can take off the other mask if you'd like to now. So the Greeks then came up with this other word that meant to speak through a mask, and the word that they came up with was prophenine. Isn't it fascinating that our English word prophet, P-R-O-P-H-E-T, the English word prophet comes from that Greek word prophenine, which means to speak through a mask. What is it that happens with the prophets? The prophet is simply a mask. So that when God speaks through the prophet, who's speaking? Is it the prophet speaking? No. According to the root of that word, when the prophet speaks, it's God who is speaking through that mask or through that prophet. Wow. In today's first reading, Ezekiel is called to be a prophet. Ezekiel is told that God is going to be giving him visions that he needs to communicate to the people. God is going to talk to the people through Ezekiel. In today's second reading, St. Paul talks about the revelations that he received. God was going to give him the revelations that he had to speak to the people. He was an intermediary between God and the people. In today's gospel, we heard that word prophet as well. No prophet is despised except where? Among his or her own people. They were seeing Jesus as a prophet, as one through whom God was speaking and acting in this world. Brothers and sisters, do you know of any prophets today? Look in the mirror. When you were baptized, what did the priest or the deacon say to you when he or she anointed you with oil? He or she anointed you as a priest, prophet, and king through Christ our Lord. Ooh, do you follow me? Do you know of any prophets? Look in the mirror. You were anointed a prophet on the day of your baptism. Which means that all of us are called to open ourselves and to be like this mask, allowing God to speak through us to those around us. Imagine that responsibility. If God had a word for that person beside you, what would that word be? And are you willing to speak that word to that person? Are you willing to let God speak through you to your family members and friends, to your co-workers and neighbors? Yes, even to your enemies and those who despise you. Are you willing to let God speak through you to them? Brothers and sisters, today's word of the day is what? Prophesying, which means to speak through a mask. All of us who are anointed in our baptisms to be prophets are called to open ourselves and allow God to speak through us to this world.